Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This will be part two on the F-250 6.2 liters computer that has or that loses communication. I'm just leaving this paper in here so he can see that this is his computer. Although I already show in the first video all this and the connectors damaged a little bit, and he already knows that and he approved the repair. For those that haven't seen this saga or the first video of me testing the computer and reproducing his concern, which is a computer that loses communication, and it was actually working good at first. I was like, oh, I don't see nothing wrong with this computer, and I was about to call it as good, and then I start seeing the glitches on the scanner, and I will try to reproduce the same thing that I have in the first video so we can all understand it. Now the computer is fully fixed. I have to connect it and actually have it tested. So I have this new tool here as just an OBD extension that I can connect now with my universal test platform breakout box. I can connect it in here, and now I have all the pins for the OBD ports, so I can have powers and grounds and CAN bus, CAN high and CAN low, etc. Right? So as in the first video, I have this connected here. So let me just plug it in, and I don't have my glasses on, so give me 1 second. Because I don't remember the positions of this really well. Okay, 6 is right here, which is CAN high, and then CAN low, pin 14. I also use this. This is the PCM relay, which is looking for power, and the computer grounds the relay, right? So I got the power supply ready to go. So let's power this up. And we have the PCM relay coming on, which was always like that. That's a 5-volt reference and sensor ground, so I know the computer is providing a good 5-volt reference, which it was. So this was never the issue. Let's connect. One thing that we have on the first video, it was the computer taking very long to connect, and actually didn't connect at the first time. Let me put this in here so we can see this better. In the meantime, this is connecting. For those that wants to send a computer or wants to contact me, this is my website, Mike Salazar Diagnostics. And yes, Mike spells very different, but it sounds Mike. In here, I have my address, and you can contact me if you scroll a little down. This has a button that will open your email um, application or provider in your computer, and you can text me, send me an email, or you can call me. This is my cell phone number, or you can use the Let's Chat button here in order to contact or start a conversation with me. Oh, it's never going to communicate. You see, guys, I'm going too fast. Well, what is the VCI, right? I have not connected the VCI, so give me 1 second. All right, in the meantime, the VCI is turning on. I also want to show you, and the reason things like this happens is, it's late. This is the next day, and now it's 8 p.m. I'm working hard, after hours trying to help others and also, get something on my business, right? Making it grow, but it's a little uh, taking a toll on my body. I'm a little exhausted, after the whole day of work and then coming to work in your computers. That's why you make little errors like that. I try to always be very straight thinking when I'm repairing the modules and make sure that everything goes well, but as always, you get tired, right? So all right, so let's do the auto scan again. All right, now we got the Bluetooth connected. Another thing that I want to put is the Picoscope. All right, so that's a good sound, and it connected right away on the first time with the correct beam number, which is B63226. All right, in the meantime, Picoscope is coming on. Things that I want to show is the setup that I use for CAN bus, because this is very good. All right, let me erase those notes in here because that's for another um, setup. All right, so I'm going only to use channel A and channel B. I want to create a match channel, so this is like the E here. and then use A minus B. This is for to see exactly what the computer's communications look like, because this is a redundant signal that the transceiver inside the computer will analyze and make a 2-volt signal. So that's what the computer's actually microprocessor is looking at, not the blue channel or the red channel. So that's why I always go like this. Now in views, I can deselect A and B because I'm not going to use this for nothing else unless I am looking for troubles or wrong signals. So if you're doing an analysis on a CAN bus on a car or in any vehicle, you want to keep the blue and the red channel app, because sometimes the problem, it shows into the one signal, and when you do the A minus B, it might not show up because this is the equation, let's say, of A minus B, right? But for my testing and what we're doing in here, this is good. All right, let me select the PCM. It's going to go into the scene in here. Okay, now I want to go into serial decoding on the Picoscope. In here we select CAN bus. We're going to select A minus B. Threshold, very important, because for some reason it's put them in 5 volts almost. So definitely not. So I always put them into half of the signal. Hysteresis, I will probably go around 300 millivolts, and then next. And just click next. This will populate whatever messages are here. So far, we have this ones. Things that I want to show as well is I always create a template. You can watch the video that I did on Audi, where you can, by looking at the IDs and having only the computer connected and not the scanner, you can see what IDs are for the computer and which IDs are for the scanner, and then you can create a template. I already created that because I work very often in Fords, and I had that. So I can click data to text, and I can go into open. This is like a change in here, a chain. So I'm going to open this, and this is going to start looking for a file. All right, so now I'm going to look into the computer. So I have to, this is desktop. Okay, I have it in there. Now you can see that all the messages, now those IDs that were there, now all it says is PCM. Why? Because that's only the PCM. If I want to see what else we have here, I can scroll down. Remember, this is just what is on the last, because the scope is stopped. So all these are PCM, and there is one error in there. You can click, and this is very important. What I use this is, if I click in here, now Picoscope is going to show me where that error is happening, because it's going to zoom and it's showing me what IDs are for the computer, and it's at the end. So the reason is an error is because I have a small or too fast of a capture. When you're analyzing CAN bus, you want to go 100 milliseconds per division. Make sure also that you click in here and you want to, like, what is this doing that? Okay, so you go into sample rate. 4 is okay. Oh, but make sure that you are, I don't know why the touch screen sometimes that does that. You click on sample rate and you want to go to, I would say maybe 5. See, the touch screen sometimes does that. In this Pico software, not liking too much the touch screen on the button. So let me do this with the mouse. So I want to make sure that I can do at least, I would say for Canvas, I would say at least 4 million samples per second. That would be perfect, because when you click in sample rate, it doesn't matter what you change in the tab. Let's say I'm going to close that, and now I'm going over to 100 milliseconds. You see the 3.91 milliseconds or million samples per second is staying steady. So that's very good for that. So I also want to show the template, because now that this is running, let me see, something happening here. Um, Let me do time base, because something happening here. Not the time base. Let me change the time base to, yeah, this is not even looking correct. Oh, I know what is happening. Let me see sampling, buffer memory. Let me go back to, because sometimes when you start touching the buttons in here, the settings doesn't really convert to what it's supposed to. Because right now the signal you see is not really being compute correctly. Let me see if I have a filter apply here. Let's reduce or take the filters off. Yeah, let's take the filters off because I think that's what is affecting our capture. All right, let's go over to sample rate. Yeah, now we can keep it in there. And then 4 million samples should be okay. So the filters, it was filters applied to the channels, and that's what was creating the problem. Because now if I go over to 100 milliseconds per division, the sample rate is still good, and we are getting the messages. So that's exactly what you want to have. All right, so let me open that folder that I have in, the in the desktop. This is the it's just an Excel file that if you click in data to text, the same Picoscope is going to create. This will add all these headers in here that when you open it, the same Picoscope knows how to apply it, and now all this works perfectly. Um, Things that are very important when you're working. You see how it says in here 70 or 7.0E08. That's this is wrong. This should say, so when you are opening these files, just click in here in general and make sure that you put this as numbers as a text. Now I'm gonna have to change this one because I don't want that to say that. Is what I really want is just 7E08. So I can click in here and just put what exactly just said. 7E08, because that's for the top done. Let's still, I'll change it to scientific text. Let's do it again. So 7E08, and no 7 is in there. You got to erase. And now when I click, you see the 7E08 is still saying that. So we want 7E008. And you're going to have to do this every time you open the Excel file because it's just the way, um, come on, it changed it back to scientific. You see? I don't know why he's doing that. So 7E08. All right, so let's save that and make sure now, if I close it, let me reopen it. They're still showing, you see, because this is a problem. Every time you open the file, it's trying to open it as a general. So you will have to change that. And I have not, maybe on settings. I mean, let me try to just do this quickly because preference, I don't see the preference in here. This is the new Excel. So let me just lower this 1 second. I know that this is a little longer of a time to explain just this, but I think it's important for those that wants to know this because you can click on this and this will open this same thing in a different, like in a different page. It will be nice to have this saved because you see when I click in here, now it's showing scientific, and I don't want scientific, I want text. 7E08. I'm gonna have to do the same thing, then change it to text. Seven E08, and I can save it again. All right, so let's close it because it looks like every time that you um, open it, Let me do it one more time because no matter what, I already opened it and it's properly. You see, it's every time it's doing that. And I forgot to tell you, these are all the parameters that I know for, at least for here, the four uses all the IDs for the PCM and all the IDs for the top down. I know that this is 100%, and remember, this is 7E08, not that weird number that is shown in there. All right, so if I open again Picoscope, and this is now what the test will be. Also, when you have Picoscope, there is two things you can do. You can grab this, and if you keep it, the mouse in the center, you can click in here, that little cross that shows up in there, and this will separate in the same window for the Picoscope in one, let's say, window. Right now, you got two pages. This will separate all the data from the IDs and everything, and then the Picoscope on the right side. On the other hand, if you drag this out, but the nice thing, if you keep it here, it will always be here. You can also grab it and you can separate it and it will completely open it up as a separate window. I'd rather keep it like this, like that is always in this window. All right, but go over to data stream and you will see, because in here now we got top down showing up. You see top down. I can also create a filter and just show what top down is, but you see how now top down is showing up. Before it was only the PCM. This is very important because if you're having a problems on the network and a message is an error, you can now know which module is the one is sending that error or at what time specifically, because you can create things that because when a message shows up in here, it tells you how long that message was there for. So you can calculate and say, okay, it took 13 seconds. So if you're activating a turn signal, applying the brake or something like that, you can understand what exactly, because let's say like an analog uh, input, let's say a brake pedal switch. In the new cars, now that switch, that signal is coming to the ABS and then over to the brake lights. So it's going as a message, but this is still an analog input on the brake pedal, right? So if you put, let's say, a voltmeter, or not a voltmeter, your sorry, one of the channels on the oscilloscope, you can have an analog input going from, let's say, if it's 12 volts to zero. When you apply the brake, you can see where that gets applied. You get a COM bus on the other hand on the bottom, and you can line up and look for that message to see what the next message after you apply the brake took to respond. And let's say it's 30 milliseconds or whatever it is, you can now look for that message in here and you can start understanding, okay, this is the ABS brake pedal, and that's how you decode CAN bus. And I know this is a more in-depth uh, than just doing the repair, but I wanted to share this with you guys. And also in the meantime, see that all this time that we've been talking, we have not lost communication with the scanner, which is one of the main things that this computer was having, and what is in here for. So let me set up the battery voltage. I want to put this into a graph because this was dropping, 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 and then having it in here was losing communication. Like I have to probably connect, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 times on the first video I did for this computer. And all this time that I've been talking to you guys and showing that Picoscope, and I did it on purpose, is the scanner has not lost the communication. You have not seen me try to establish communication again or anything, because you know why? It has not lost the communication. So one thing that I also want to do is now select here the voltage and then go over to the next digit. So I have right now supplying 13.5. If I see here it's showing 12.9, so I'm going to bring that up to like 14 volts and make sure that that message is changing. You see, we got 13.3. So perfect. The computer is receiving the message, or sorry, the computer is sending the message. All right, let's go down to 13 volts. Now we got 12.3. Perfect. So the scanner is seeing the message that that computer is sending over the bus. Because how is the scanner connected to this computer? Over the bus. We are actually wireless. We got a BCI. So there's not really a wire connected in here and telling what the voltage is, right? So that's why it's so important that. And me, I can actually, if I want to, again, put a multimeter or my oscilloscope, sorry, channel over to the battery voltage input on the computer. And then when I do that change, I stop the oscilloscope and I will be able to tell you with exact what message was actually the computer sending to tell the scanner that this voltage is changing, because that is all a message. And that's how I do a lot of bus decoding and a lot of problem solving on the car, when you can start gathering all the data from different modules and you can now know which module is. Then in this case, I got two modules, right? The scanner is a module and the bus right now is accepted by the computer, and then that's what these two are talking. So I now know what IDs are for the top down and what IDs are for the PCM, and all is working good. Again, keep talking in here. Let me bring this up to around 13.7. So we get like 13 volts in here. And this is all through the wires and everything that I'm using in here. And probably because of this bulb that I have in here as well, but no drops. So Omar, your computer is 100% repair. I have now to see how can I seal this properly, because of the damage that was created by someone else than me, but this is working as it's supposed to. So this is a complete successful repair. And I hope you guys like all the content and all the information that I'm trying to share. That file that you saw me open was saved probably a month ago, and I'm using it with this F-250. This was from another car completely, but you know what? The IDs didn't change. They're exactly the same. Actually, that was a 2015. Oh, no, that was a 2013 too. This was a 2013, so I will see, because I think it was like 6 months or 8 months ago. I got a 2015, but I didn't grab this data. But I will be doing it more and more with more, like if I see the 2012 to 2016, they got the same IDs, I will let you guys know, and I will share all those IDs. If you guys want, just let me know and I can send you that Excel file. You can open it on the Picoscope, connect it to the car. You do the same thing, and I guarantee you will be seeing PCM, 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 PCM. And it's very, very nice to be able to see all that stuff and decode it, because again, when you have a fault, a message is corrupting, you can pinpoint what is the problem. Where is the problem coming from? Is actually the PCM, or is that when I'm applying, let's say, a turn signal, when I'm applying the brake, and then you start getting more in depth about CAN bus. All right, guys. Thank you so much for visiting the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye.